To sixth grade band. We are super excited to showcase all of the progress that they've made, especially if you remember when they played what the fifth grade played today and then what they played on their May concert of last year. I think you're going to be very proud and excited to see what the future of our program looks like. I'm Mrs. Hostetler, and I just want to thank you for allowing us to work with your students. They're wonderful people, and we have a lot of fun. The first piece we're going to perform is, I forgot. I'm just kidding. A Christmas banner. Thank you.
Set up, I'm going to talk about the next piece that you're going to hear, because this is a special thing that also requires something different from our audience too. Next up we have what's called Prehistoric Suite. So if you look on there, there's 4 different movements, which are like 4 different pieces that are all part of the same work at the same time. Each one represents a different type of dinosaur. So we start with the grand fanfare, and then we go into the big lumbering dinosaur into movement 2, and then movement 3 is the pterodactyl, where they fly through the sky, and then movement 4 is a giant battle between a triceratops and Tyrannosaurus Rex. So because this is a suite, which is a special type of musical piece, you do not actually clap in between each movement. We wait until they're all finished, okay? It's kind of like if you've ever gone to a symphony, and they have a full symphony work with different movements going on. You don't clap until the very end. So once you hear the end of the crazy battle, and believe me, you will know when it's the end. We will go ahead and we will have applause happen then, okay? So, without further ado, Prehistoric Suite.
rehearsals in the cafeteria at Canaan, and every time when we were rehearsing the battle, I always wondered what people were thinking. Like the cafeteria workers, the classrooms down the hall, because it just sounds like chaos, doesn't it, during that battle? But it really was a lot of fun to put together, and the students enjoyed that. Without further ado, we'd like to introduce our student teacher, Miss Kara Willardson, as she conducts Fighter's Fury.
All right, some of you may have noticed there at the end, they were using, in addition to their regular instruments, they were using plastic baggies to simulate fire and what that sounds like. So we use all sorts of weird things in band to make sound effects, which is really cool. How about another round of applause for the 6th grade band and Miss W? We are now at our final piece of the 6th grade, so in a moment, once we are finished, if you have a 6th grader, actually we could probably just have everybody, that's good, thank you. She keeps me in line, I need a handler, Mrs. Hosteller helps me stay track. If you have a 6th grader, you are going to meet them in the auditoria. So they're going to go back, get whatever coats, and put their instruments away in cases and all that. And you are going to meet them in the auditoria, which is right through these doors, go down the hall, and it's immediately on the right. And so you will see that in there. You'll hear them too. They're your kids. You'll hear them. So you'll meet them there, and then once you have them, you are free to go, okay? For 5th grade, they are going to stay put for a second, and then we are all going to walk through the halls together. We're going to go back, we're going to get our things from the band room, and then they will come back and meet you in here. Since we've already been here, it's just easier, instead of going through the building, for all of the 5th grade families to wait here for your kids to return. Okay? So I think I've covered everything as far as, one other thing. If there are any high school students and or able-bodied adults that would be so willing to help us rack the chairs and stands for our custodial staff, all we need to do is just put things on the racks and then we can leave everything in here. Yes, but there are 10 chairs per rack, so that's an easy round number to remember if you're so willing to help. Hi, I see high school students. Hi, I see you. Thank you. Help us. Okay. All right. Before we play our last piece, Mrs. Hostetler is giving me the look that she wants to talk, so I will let her talk.
Really, I was giving him the look to stop talking, but that's okay. Now, I'm just here because your students do such a great job, and those of you who've been around me know that I think hard work is worth rewarding. So if you are feeling generous with your students, I highly suggest you get a sweet treat after the concert, and then send me a picture so that I can see what sweet treat they got. Okay? Ryan, you're welcome. Without further ado, we have our final number, Carol of the Bells. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Isn't the recording about that?
One more round of applause for the CMS 5th and 6th grade band. Thank you again so much for allowing us to work with your kids. It is a joy every single day. It is early when we see them, but they do